Am I going down? Am I still going up? I don't know. And super steep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So sick. I'm somewhere a bit different today. I don't normally come over to this side of the valley. I live in Salt Lake City, but I live over by the bottom of the Cottonwood Canyons, which is kind of where the like the ski resorts are. So Brighton, Solitude, Snowbird, Alta, that kind of stuff. So I tend to ride stuff up there a lot. If I'm not doing Park City. So this is more like Salt Lake City, kind of closer to Salt Lake proper. I'd heard about some stuff over here, some interesting stuff in between the map trails, some steeps. Don't really know, but I'm just gonna go for a pedal, maybe a hike, depending, and just see what we find. Salt Lake City right over there. Great Salt Lake way over there. That would be I-80 going down. So the canyon is like right here, going up that way. So I made a video a little while ago talking about tire pressures. I referenced how I crushed a wheel, had to get a new one, had cushcore in it. I was running 18 PSI on that day and had been all year. You know, feeling fine with 18, especially with cushcore. I'd get the occasional feeling of like squishiness on the back when I'm really pushing hard into a berm. Most of the berms that I've been hitting all year though have been like catch berms, not really manicured hard pack berms. So I'm kind of just catching my speed at the bottom of a steep. Since crushing my wheel and since starting to wonder if 18 is way too low, I have committed myself to running higher tire pressures. So it's been going well. I guess this will be an update for that, because I was very skeptical. I always have been. Every time I bump my pressures up even slightly, I would notice it and hate it immediately and then end up going back down. I noticed it mostly in the front when I up the pressures. In the front, the front end would just feel chattery as hell. Feel it through my hands a ton. Feel like I couldn't find traction. Start to wash out the front, maybe, that kind of stuff. So now I'm currently sitting at 25-23 PSI. I don't hate it. I feel like the traction is fine. I guess I haven't really noticed a lack of traction with those higher tire pressures. So part of my hesitancy with raising tire pressures, and this might sound a little counterintuitive, but I've always just had like the lighter casing, medium to hard rubber compounds on my tires, just like whatever came stock with the bike. I would just run that, and typically that was like an XO casing, Maxxis tire XO casing, which is the lightest that they make. And then it would, I think with all of them, every Maxxis tire I've ever had, it's always been a Max Terra. Max Terra being a harder rubber compound, and the Max Grip being the softer, grippier one. I've never had Max Grip, so I was always running lighter casing and harder rubber. When I had lighter casing tires and harder rubber, I found that I would lose traction in my front tire, especially when I started to up the pressures. And I'd feel like I was washing out in berms. The front would just disappear on me sometimes. Super sketchy feeling. I didn't like it at all. And so naturally, I started to play around with tire pressures, and I would burp it a little bit in front and rear, and I would instantly notice more traction in those berms, in those turns, those flat corners, where I'm really trying to like lean the bike over and corner well. And so I think that was kind of that's what spurred me onto lower pressures, and I ended up just sticking with it. So then fast forward years later to last year, when I got these Continental tires, and these Continental tires, oh, this is steep, are the downhill casing with the grippiest rubber compound that they make. Hold on, this is steep. So after I fast forward quite a few years, then I got a proper downhill set of tires, and I've built up the habits of running lower tire pressures. I had heard from a couple sources that, you know, you can get away with running higher tire pressures with grippier compounds because the grip is there. You don't need to drop your pressures to find that grip. And I felt, you know, a little uncomfortable with that idea. I didn't want to ruin a ride by trying it out and just feeling chattery. So I just kind of never did. Just kept going 18. And then we know what happened with that eventually, as I've said. So anyways, 25, 23, feels pretty darn good to me. These conditions need all the grip in the world. So we shall see on this stuff. You know, between the options of pushing the bike and carrying the bike, I honestly think carrying is easier somehow. When you're pushing it, it's like you're pushing a sled in the gym, kinda, a lightweight one, but you burn out your calves pretty quick. Then you throw it over your shoulder, and assuming you don't slip out, it just feels like you're hiking with like a heavy 35-pound pack on and no hands. Oh yeah. Whew. There's that Parley's Canyon we were talking about. Okay. Straight down. Okay, I see a ridgeline trail. So, just going down here. Straight down this, it looks like. Woo! yeah. Oh yeah, this is really steep. I can't open it up because it's too loose. I wouldn't be able to slow down if I let off the brakes even a little bit. Yeah. Ha. Wow. That was gnarly. All right. I've talked a little bit about my suspension as well. I've talked about the coil. I got a Lyrik in the front that came with the bike. I specifically got this limited edition or limited model of the Stumpy Evo because it came mullet, and it came with Rockshox. I am definitely a Rockshox guy. I've tried Fox in the past. I feel like it's over damped. It's too firm. I can never quite get my Fox suspension to feel plush enough, I guess. It just felt like if I tuned it up to help me out with bottom out support, it would feel too chattery in the small bump compliance and all that. So then if I tuned it down to help me with small bump compliance, it would feel like it's blowing through the travel and I'm diving. So I can never, I played with volume spacers, I played with pressures, I played with everything, and I had that bike, the previous bike, it was a YT Jeffsy with a Fox 36 on it and a Float X in the back. I played with that for a year and a half, and I just never felt great. The bike before that had Rockshox. I had fond memories of that, so I really wanted a bike that had Rockshox on it. And it was a mullet. I was like, whatever. I don't really care one way or the other with the mullet. I've definitely enjoyed the mullet aspect of this. I think it's more playful being a mullet. So, don't know what we're dropping into here, but it looks like it's a gully or something. See how it goes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Oh. Yo. Yo. Nice.
I'm so scared to not brake check into that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely boots you, huh? Oh, really? Okay, right on. Good to know. Thanks, man. Yeah.
There's like a few hike-a-bike ways that are really short.
Well, I'm Nate.
I'm Joey.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
I'll see you over here another time.
I recognize your bike, bro. Are you Nate's second ride?
Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah.
It's a cool trail.
It's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Really fun to just like kind of bobsled through it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good one. See ya. All right, beauty. Well, after saying all that about my tire pressures, they felt great. 25, 23 feels dialed. I don't feel like I'm getting spanked around. I don't feel like I'm losing traction. I don't feel like I'm sliding all over the place. It feels like my rim is well protected and I got all the grip in the world. That's honestly what it feels like. I don't really get it. Maybe I just kind of, my mind has been reprogrammed now after just kind of forcing myself into it. That's got to be a big part of it. So